The science fiction genre is one of the most intriguing categories of film. Audiences expect to be brought into a world where there is no limit to the type of characters and stories that can be brought to life. Some of the top heavy hitters like Star Wars, Alien, and The Matrix can thank Planet of the Apes for helping to put them on the map. Once upon a time, science fiction was almost like that campy horror movie that we roll our eyes at. It wasn't taken seriously and didn't bring in the big bucks. So let's go back to 1968 to explore the film that helped science fiction take a respected place in the film industry. This story starts off with Arthur P. Jacobs, a man who isn't going to get much background outside of the fact that in the 1960s, he wanted to embark on a different project in his career. He found his next big thing, but he quickly learned that this didn't matter to most people. So what he had to do was get a good A team together. He was able to convince the Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone to write the treatment for the film. If you did not know, a treatment is written for a television show or film to help summarize the project. It usually includes the tone of the show or film and some of the major scenes. Its main purpose is to help sell the project to the people with the moolah. Once I learned that Serling was involved with the treatment and script, it made a lot of sense to the ending of the movie, which we'll get into later. Side note, if you have not watched The Twilight Zone, probably because it's before your time, you definitely are missing out. I'm hyping up Serling because I started watching the show recently and it's a wild time. It's a good show. The episodes still hold up. They're entertaining and intriguing, so check them out. So Serling did not finish the complete project, but his work was built upon as Michael Wilson came on board to work on the final script. As I already mentioned, there wasn't a big crowd for science fiction around this time, so that meant it took a lot of convincing for Fox to greenlit the motion picture. Fox was high-key poor at this time and had to pinch their pennies with any upcoming productions. Through the passion of Richard Zanuck and Charlton Heston, after 3 years of trying to pitch this movie, they came around to the idea of the Planet of the Apes. So it's worth noting how important the casting was to this movie. So the actors and actresses had a significant body of work at the time, so that really made people take more of an interest to it than they normally would have. It's like if we see Meryl Streep, Angela Bassett, or Denzel Washington in certain projects, we take a little bit more notice because we know they're serious about their craft. It's probably going to be a good film. In the 1960s, there was Choice A, the gorilla suit, or Choice B, live monkeys. Then John Chambers came on the scene and shook all of that up. He is mainly responsible for the work that you see on screen. Chambers was experimental with his makeup work, and he also didn't play around. He took his job very seriously, and if he could have, he probably would have did the work himself just so he know that it was right. He was that particular. He hand selected the makeup artists that would work on the set, and they had to go through 2 to 3 weeks of training with prosthetics and makeup.
We had a couple of journeyman makeup artists in the trailers with us who would go up and down and give us pointers or tell us what to do or what not to do, or you're doing too much or doing too little.
It was kept as simple as possible. We had a full face appliance that had to be prepped, which meant we had to clear out the eye area and the mouth area, and we had to learn how to feather out the edges on the piece.
Once they passed training and filming began, their jobs would start around 2:30 to 3 a.m., so really early, way before I like to open my eyes. That's usually the time I like to go to bed, honestly. And of course, with all their hard work being put in and just the sleepless hours, nothing could mess up this makeup. Not even a Kit Kat break, y'all. So, of course, with this being so new, at first they let people eat, the regular way. You get your food, you put it in your mouth, use your utensils, whatever. There was one incident during lunch that caused the makeup to be messed up, and that was it. From then on, the cast was asked to drink milkshakes for their meals. So, the makeup wearers understand that you have to be selective with your meals when your face is beat and you put on all that work, you took all that time, nothing can mess it up. The struggle was worth it though, so let's watch a clip to see how the audience felt for the first time watching the movie.
I was sitting in the cinema next to my mum, watching mastery unfold before my very eyes. After the film, I asked her, how did they get those monkeys to do those things? And she patted me on the head and she said, it's not real, pet. It's just acting. That's when I knew. If they can teach those monkeys to act that brilliantly, just imagine what I could bring to the world.
Obviously, this man needs some milk since he has no clue what's going on. Like, he don't even understand. But, I mean, really, he's not far off from how the audience felt watching the Planet of the Apes for the first time. They were captivated by the film because of the groundbreaking makeup. In 1968, it was revolutionary. On my viewing of the film, I thought that actors and actresses were wearing suits because their mouth movement was limited to up and down. And that's not, far off from the masks that you see around Halloween time and things like that. But that's not what was available back in the day. Doing this research for this rewind, I can truly see how the work was ahead of its time. Before I end this rewind, I want to touch more on the film. So spoilers for this over 50-year-old movie, they're coming up, okay? I thought it was actually a good enough movie. I thought it held up. I really enjoyed that the prequels had some callbacks in it, such as Bright Eyes and the apes riding the horses. I had some moments where I laughed, but the ending to this movie is my favorite. The fact that I still remember the ending, and I really don't remembering a lot, I have to write everything down because I forget easily. It means that this movie deserves a 3, almost 4 ice cream rating. So, quick synopsis of the movie. There's an astronaut crew. They land on this planet, and the humans, they're the ones who are being hunted by apes and captured. Charlton Heston's character, George Taylor, he does everything in the film to escape captivity because he does get caught, and then he's just like running throughout the movie and everything like that. And he's finally free. He gets to go home, back to Earth, back to people, back to freedom. So he's running on the beach, and he notices a distant figure. He can't make it out, not really sure what it is. And then that zoom out. It's so heartbreaking. It's like so much to process and question. Like, my God, how did we get here? How did society evolve to humans being the ones in the cages? Like, again, I say how. It's just so much to try and understand. So thank you so much for going with me back to 1968 to revisit the original Planet of the Apes. The franchise is still going strong all these years later, so you gotta give props to the OG. In the comments, tell me what you love about this movie or the franchise in general, your favorite scenes, quotes, all of the things. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more movie breakdowns. Thanks for stopping by.